And here we are with the second attempt here at Robbie Rants Live. Sorry about that, guys. We had a system malfunction. But now we are back. I am Rockin Robbie Billups here for Robbie Rants Live. For Pop Culture Philosophy, I host the weekly comic book review and the weekly pop culture wrap-ups here. I'm also the co-host of the podcast, Pop Culture Philosophers, with John Hammertime Holshoe and frequent guests, Justified Justin Goldsmith, Dashing Drew Matson, and others. And, of course, fan favorites like the Jelangsta Gangsta Jelani and Brooks the Magnificent. But we are back here for a live chat. We seriously only got like 5 minutes into it, so I'm going to just kind of fill some time waiting for people to come back in. Once you're here, let me know. Sorry about that. Hopefully we won't have any more issues like that. We haven't had them for a few weeks, so I was very surprised that happened. But anyway, thank you guys for coming back in. We were talking about the upcoming Dark Horse comics. There were a couple things of note, like Blackwood #1, some the new Usagi Yojimbo collection, things like that. But we're about to look at IDW. And when I was looking at IDW, and once you're back in, just let me know. And I want to know who's in here and who's chilling with us on a Sunday night. And I hope you all had a great time. Thank you for jumping back in here. Sorry about that. So anyway, the Comic Book History of Comics, Comics for All, which is the second volume of that awesome series, which is almost should be required reading for almost any comic book fan. That trade paperback is out this week from IDW. What else is out? Let's see. We got a new Sonic the Hedgehog, and that's pretty much it of note from IDW, at least that I'm paying attention to here. What do we got up here? Let's go to Image Comics. Before we get to Image Comics, I want to chat a little bit about what's going on. So on the weekly pop culture wrap-up, we talked about the 100-page giants from DC Comics that are going to be at Walmart stores. I had a question if they were going to be available in Canada, and I do not know if that is the case at all. So hopefully that will be the case, and that would be super cool. But I think it's a great thing, and I want to elaborate a little bit more on some thoughts that I had about it. It's not that parents don't want to bring their kids into comic shops. It's that a lot of parents may not even think to bring their kids into comic shops, right? And so the first comic books I ever bought were at places like grocery stores and convenience stores, gas stations, things like that, right? So I think it's great, and it's nice to get that product out there in a very cheap and easily digestible format for not just kids, but for everybody. And one thing that I hope doesn't happen, and I had another question is, do you think that they're going to have a lot of copies of them? And I hope so, because I also don't want a lot of just normal collectors, those of us that read this stuff no matter what, right? I don't want us to pull that experience away from a young child. Now, that being said, I'm totally going to try to grab these and read them and all that stuff. I'm excited about this format. So I hope they really anticipate that, because there are going to be a lot of collectors out there, and a lot of these books are going to be damaged. Walmart's really not going to take too much care of them. They're going to be thick, meaty, $4.99, 100-page comics. I'm super, super excited for that. What's up, Reviews from the Back Cave? How you doing out there, man? Having a good time? Man or ma'am? Whatever. We're looking at Image Comics here now, coming up. Slime, what's up, buddy? You think it's a good idea? You're talking about the 100-page giants? I think it's fantastic. Marvel tried to do something like this, like in the early 2000s with their 100-page monsters, and they would have like the normal issue of a series, and then at no extra cost, they would have all these reprints, but they marketed towards the direct market. And the direct market, those of us that read this stuff every week, and we go into the comic shops and we discuss this and debate it, and watch YouTube videos about it and stuff like that. Those of us like that, like that's not the market for something like this. And I think it's a really good idea to get it back out there. That being, Marvel's also been doing their own little digest, kind of like the Archie digest, and I've seen those at grocery stores in the aisles, and that's cool. But I think that these ones being big and being prominent and having new content by writers like Tom King, Tim Seeley, and Brian Michael Bendis, Jimmy Palmiotti, Nick Darrington, Andy Kubert, I think that's going to really help launch this into something very, very successful. And they have said that they're going to reprint all of the original material later on for those of us in the direct market. They'll probably do like some special one-shot issues or some. It's just like when they do the digital books, Batman 66 was a digital book, but they still put it out in print. They're not going to pass up the opportunity to make some money. That's what I think. What's up, Doc Savage Comics? How you doing? All right, from Image Comics this week, we got the next issue of Bloodstrike. It's 23. I really like the art. Is that Fife or whatever? But I just couldn't get into it, man. I just couldn't get into that one. But Bloodstrike number 23 is out this week. A new issue of Descender, issue 31, is out this week. That book is wrapping up soon. It's coming to an end. And in my opinion, in grandiose fashion. I love that book so much. I think it's Jeff Lemire's best work. I think it's Dustin Nguyen's best work. I adore that book. I adore it so much. I almost, it'd make a really cool TV series or a movie series or something like that. I just want it to exist the way it is because it's that amazing to me. It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best comic books ever created. I honestly think that. I think it's definitely top 3 best sci-fi comic books ever made. What? Yeah, that's a hot take. Maybe. There's a new Killer Be Killed. Issue 20 is out this week. New issue of Outcast, new issue of The Realm, new issue of Saga, new issue of Sex Criminals. It's got a pretty decent week for Image, and a new issue of Wicked and the Divine, a book that I adore and have fallen severely behind on. Severely behind. That's why I haven't been talking about it in the videos, because I've fallen behind on it. So what else can we look at before we get to the big two? Does Dynamite happen to have anything? They got a new Charlie's Angels book out this week, guys. Note my sarcasm when I tell you I'm very excited. I'm actually not. I mean, it may be good. It may be good. I really like that first Charlie's Angels movie that Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu did. And Sam Rockwell was in that, or was that 2? Was that 1? I don't know. I like that movie, the first one. I liked it. So maybe it's something like that. Who knows? I don't trust it with Dynamite though. New Red Sonja, new Vampirilla. Yeah. Nothing of note there. Let's look at Boom Studios real quick. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Adventure Time, Beginning of the End is out. A new Old Man Jack issue is out this week. The new issue of Lucy Dreaming, which is an amazing, very imaginative book from Boom. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Anniversary Special. Oh, that's really, really cool. And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Archive Volume 1. I think that's a trade paperback reprint of all those old school comics. That's really cool. If that's the case, that's super, super cool. Wow. All right, now we'll get to Marvel and DC. But first, I want to see if we have any comments. And what's up with you guys? Oh, is it the last issue of Killer Be Killed? Really? Man, Brubaker and Phillips are really doing these like short and sweet type things right now, aren't they? I don't know. That's what I think. Anybody have any questions? Anything you want to ask me? I watched Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It was okay. The movie Monday review will be up tomorrow morning, probably around 10 a.m. my time. It was okay. Did anybody watch that movie this week? And if so, what did you think about it with no spoilers? I really liked the ending of it. I thought the ending was very, very solid. From DC Comics this week, everybody. We got the final issue. Speaking of final issues, the final issue of Astro City, number 52, is out this week. Kurt Busiek's run on Astro City has been amazing and flawless. That being said, I haven't really read any of this new volume, but I do intend on getting caught up and having like a severe like month of just a binge on Astro City, because that book, especially back in the 90s, major influence on me and the type of comic books that I liked. Kurt Busiek is a hell of a talent in this industry, in my opinion. We got a new prelude to the wedding issue. It's Harley versus Joker, so I'm sure that's going to probably be the best selling out of all of those. We got Dark Knight's Metal, The Resistance out in trade paperback. It's interesting because all these metal things have been coming out in hardcover. This one is going to be in trade paperback. That should be the Bats Out of Hell story and the Resistance story, I think. Should be both of those. So we have Brian Hill's first issue of Detective Comics out this week. That's 983. I am very excited for this. Brian Hill's been doing some good work on some books like Bonehead. I think he does Bonehead. I think he does Postal as well. I hear good things about that, but I haven't read it. And he does, what's that book? Michael Cray. And Michael Cray is something that's kind of up and down with me, back and forth. But I'm very excited to see what he does here. Apparently, he's been talking to Jeff Johns about how they're going to deal with the whole who are the outsiders and how that's going to actually work with Black Lightning and all that stuff. I believe he works on the Black Lightning show. So I'm excited for this new. I think he's doing 6 issues of this, and then we'll see what happens after that. Flash number 49 is out this week, continuing the Flash War story. I've been enjoying that, thinking that's pretty solid. Let's go through CCC. Man of Steel number 5, of course, it's weekly, so of course it's coming out. I thought the last issue was a little bit of a lull in the story, but I still enjoyed it, and I'm very, very stoked for this book. I think it's great. Mira, Queen of Atlantis number 5 is out. They got to get that going, so they have that trade ready for when the Aquaman movie comes out. Final issue of Motherlands, a new issue of Raven, Daughter of Darkness, new issue of Silencer out this week. The Super Sons of Tomorrow trade paperback is out. New issue of The Terrifics, Number 5, Teen Titans Special number 1. That's your Crush. That's your first appearance of Crush, Lobo's daughter. That's where that's going to be. I guarantee it. And a new issue of Wonder Woman. And before we get to Marvel, let me see what we got to say here. Is that the final issue of Descender? Is that the final issue of Descender? I did not know that that was the final issue. If it is, that's sad. But hey. Huh. You're right, Slime. This is YouTube, and usually we all get involved in that hyperbole. The full-on thoughts will be in the video tomorrow. We all thought it was okay, I guess. It's all right. I mean, my quick little review is that I think it starts off excruciatingly slow, and it makes a lot of like retcons to the franchise in order to quicken the story along, even though it takes a long time for it to really get to where it's supposed to be. A lot of the characters are very two-dimensional. There's nothing really there. The villains are like mustache twirling, as we like to say. But the third and final act of the movie is really fun. And it's really, really fun. Like, I wish I would have saved the popcorn and the candy for the final bit of the movie, because that part was really fun. And the way it leaves things is cool. So, but we'll have our full spoilerific review out tomorrow morning on Movie Monday. What's up, Nelson? Yeah, I don't think Descender's in. I didn't think Descender was ending yet. I thought it was soon, but I didn't think it was this week. I don't know. We're gonna someone ask Jeff Lemire. Someone get on Twitter right now. Stephanie, what's up? I have already talked about those 100-page giants. I think it's a great idea to put that kind of format where it's like $4.99 in a mass market like that, when maybe parents wouldn't necessarily think to bring their kids to a comic shop, but if they're always at Walmart, and if they see this big Batman book, I think a mom or a dad's going to feel better about buying their kid a $4.99 comic if it's 100 pages as opposed to 25. So I think it's a great idea, and it's a great idea to target that towards that mass market. That being said, I'm gonna be there and try to read them. I want them too. I really do. What's up, Tony? How you doing? Welcome back. Yes, Lime, it's up tomorrow. Patreon supporters got it right now. So if you're a Patreon supporter, it's available right now, the Movie Monday. We usually get those up on Sunday. There will not be a Movie Monday next week, just so everybody knows. There will not be a Movie Monday next week. There will also not be a live stream next week either. I am moving, and we're moving a lot of stuff around. So that weekend, we're kind of taking off. What's up, Jesse? He says he's going to buy them, or she says she's going to buy them. He or she. That's exactly what I was saying, Stephanie, is that like my first comics, like a lot of people, they were bought at gas stations. They were bought at grocery stores, things like that. They will be collected in some format later on for the direct market, like all the original content, like the Tom King Superman story, the Brian Michael Bendis Batman story, with Nick Darrington on the artwork. And that's like the most exciting thing to me about this whole thing. But that will be collected at some point in the future for the direct market. Work kicked your ass? I can understand that. Absolutely. Well, relax with us. Have a beer. Talk some comics. We're about to get into the upcoming Marvel comics this week, and I think Marvel has some very exciting releases this week, especially involving Mr. Jeff Lemire, who may or may not be ending Descender this week. I think Nelson's right, though. I think it's the end of the current arc, but I don't think it's the final arc. I think it's on a hiatus until like later on, though. I think it's going to skip like a month or two. But it will be back, I think, for one more big, oh, man. That book is so good, so good. Black Panther #2 was out this week. I really was impressed with that first issue, and it's got a cool mystery that got set up. I think it's set in the future, like way in the future. And the legacy of T'Challa and Wakanda and all that stuff is kind of what they're referencing. But I really like it. But issue 2 of that is out this week. Deadpool Assassin #2 is out this week with artwork by Mark Bagley. Let's see. Hunt for Wolverine. It's the Mystery Madripoor that we get this week. That's the one that had like the Patch stuff and Storm and a few other X-type characters. The new Darkhawk issue is out this week, issue 3 of the Infinity Countdown tie-in. It doesn't have to be an Infinity Countdown tie-in for me to love a Darkhawk book, especially when it's done as well as this one is. The 7th issue of Marvel 2-in-1 is out this week, and that book is just amazing, brilliant. It feels like classic Marvel. It feels like classic Fantastic Four. It's adventurous. It's fun. It's seriously one of the best books on the shelves right now. One of the best books of 2018. Chip Zdarsky and company have been doing an amazing job on that book. Fantastic. New issue of Moon Knight this week. New issue of Miss Marvel this week. Multiple Man #1 is out this week. The 5-issue miniseries from Matthew Rosenberg. I am very excited for that. I think that's going to be cool. Old Man Hawkeye #6 is out this week. That's been a good one. And with an Old Man Hawkeye always comes an Old Man Logan. Number 42 is out this week. Spectacular Spider-Man 306. And Mr. Jeff Lemire releases the Sentry #1 this week. Jeff Lemire on the Sentry, that's got to be amazing. He's doing great work with these legacy type, old school type heroes and things like Black Hammer right now. Jeff Lemire is a hell of a talent and really just hitting a stride right now that is almost unheard of. It's amazing. The 2nd issue of Thor is out this week. I loved Thor #1, so I'm super pumped for issue 2. Like to see a little bit more revelation about what's going on at the end of that, in the future story. Donny Cates' Thanos Wins trade paperback is out this week. I'm going to get that, snatch that up and reread that story because that was one of the best of the year. Absolutely. Venom #3 is here already. Another issue of Venom. Oh, Marvel's giving us great gifts this week, guys. And yeah, there they are. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Let me go down here real quick and get other comics set up. And we'll look at that later and see if there's anything else. I hope Tom King's Superman's not going to be mopey. Did he say it was going to be super mopey? Oh, what's up, buddy? Oh, man, they're not going to get back to that till issue 5. Yeah, you're right, aren't you? They're not going to be a backup or something there? Man, that's silly. Bulletproof Coffin. I vaguely remember that book. I remember reading maybe like the first issue of something, and I remember liking it graphically and thinking the composition was good, but I never continued it, and I don't really remember much specifically about it. So what did you think? I don't know. I haven't checked it out. Stephanie, you talking about Thor? Thor is amazing. That book was really, really good. I do got some toys that I was planning on showing off tonight too. We were talking last week about the new show and tell portion of the Robbie Rants Live. So out of all the comic books coming out this week, I'm very, very excited, mostly about some of the Marvel stuff. I'm very excited for July. July's got some really good stuff coming out. We got the new Captain America. We got the new Justice League Dark, the new Justice League Odyssey. Really good stuff. Okay, so we got a new issue of Brothers Dracul this week. That's the Cullen Bunn series from Aftershock Comics, focusing on kind of the true non-history of Dracula. But I've liked that book so far. It's a little slow to start, but not as strong as Dark Ark, but I do like it. Of course, it doesn't take much to get me to like a Dracula comic book, to be honest with you. There's a new book from Devil's Due called Final Street #1. It looks so like a late 80s, early 90s video game. What else is out? I'm on Previews World, right? And I hate how they have all the other companies together. Oh, the 2nd issue of Harbinger Wars is out this week. That's really cool. So 3rd issue of Her Infernal Descent is out this week. A new John Carpenter Tales of Sci-Fi, The Standoff, is here. I've been thinking about going back and reading those. I don't really know if I should, but I've been kind of thinking about it. Mike Hammer #1. That's a book that's out this week. I wonder if there's anything new from Vault. I don't think so. I don't think we get a new Vault book till next week, maybe, which is going to be Submerged. But maybe something's out this week. I'm sure this is riveting entertainment right now. Oh, man. Nelson just looked it up. 2 issues of Descender left. This is the penultimate issue. New issue of Exo Man and War out this week. I really, really got to get caught up on that book. Yeah, that looks like what we got. I really got to get caught up on that book. Oh, yeah, when in doubt, just look and see what Brett says. What's up, Brett? Brett, for some reason, can't comment here on our YouTube channel, so I'm going to look at his messages and see what he says. That sucks. The Descender's only got 2 issues left, but it's great that, like, that's like a nice weekend, sitting back and just reading all of Descender all at once. Yeah, it's just Brett saying, what's up? What's up, buddy? How you doing? I think the first crush is this week. That's what I think. Yes, I saw that Bloodshot is ending soon because he's already got like Ray Fox at times helping him out with some of the scripts. And I heard that they already announce the next writer. I don't remember who it was though. Yeah, and he announced that Royal City's on its final arc too. But it makes room for some things. I mean, Black Hammer's supremely successful right now. He's got this Century book out. Terrific seems to be like the one book out of the New Age of Heroes that's going to kind of make the cut and last a little bit longer. So I get it. And I'm with you. Now, Harbinger Wars has been really, really good. Really good. Hey, what's up, Mark? About to go to sleep. I understand. It's a late night for you, I'm sure. So thank you for checking in, and you can catch the full chat later on, of course. Jeff Lemire's been doing some really, really good work, guys. And I am behind on Black Hammer, and I need to get caught up on that. I would not want to be president, Tony, at all. Not at all. So I want to show some of these Toy Biz DC superheroes, DC Comics superheroes action figures. I got some Batman villains I'm going to show off right now. So I love these ones because they came out like, what, 89, something like that? Yeah, 1989. They came out during when the first Batman movie came out, which just recently celebrated, its 29th anniversary. So that movie was so fantastic, and it was so big. And I remember going up to it was like a toy store. I think it was KB Toys at the mall. And it was a big deal. They had all these toys everywhere, and I loved them. These were just repurposed Superpowers action figures. Like this penguin right here. That's just straight up the Superpowers penguin action figure. That's exactly what it is. But I love it, and I think it's so cool. So I got the penguin one there, and then we're going to show you the Riddler one right here. The Riddler one's kind of janky. I think the original Superpowers Riddler was just a repainted Green Lantern. You used to be able to see the ring. That's not the case here. My favorite thing about this Riddler figure is that, so the penguin's got this like, umbrella that shoots out, right? The umbrella pops off of it. And he comes with riddles. Like there's seriously a sheet of paper back there that just contains some riddles. Like that's his action feature. It's the silliest thing. This was the only Two-Face figure we had for a very, very long time. He's got this obnoxiously large coin that he tosses up and flips, and that's super cool. I never had this one when I was a kid, so getting this one, when I think I bought these like a couple years ago, was a joy, a true joy. And I got this Mr. Freeze, and this thing was awesome. My neighbor had this when I was a kid, and its face changes when you get it cold or whatever. You put it in the freezer, and it turns all blue, then it goes normal. Yeah, watch him change color if he's not in his own freezing environment. Super cool stuff, man. Super cool stuff. They had the Superman action figure, if you remember, that came with a kryptonite ring that had a magnet in it, and you can knock down Superman if you got your fist up close to him. Oh, super cool stuff. All right, we got some comments now for me to get to here. All right. I fell behind on Descender. So, yeah, we can read for the whole series would be awesome. Absolutely. That book has been so good. And I just recently did reread leading up to Rise of the Robots when they did that story arc. And that book is just, it's got so many layers, so many great characters, so many stories that just come together at the right time. It's so amazing. What's up, Jay? I have not watched Luke Cage Season 2. I have heard very mixed things about it. Some people really like it. Some people really don't and think it's kind of cheesy. So the first season of Luke Cage, I thought the first half of it was amazing. But from the moment they killed Cottonmouth and on, it just got really dumb to me. But I do plan on checking out Season 2. But I've heard mixed things right now. What's up, Adam? How you doing? Us nerds are doing good. Yes, Stephanie, it's Bob the Goon. I have that up in a box right now, packed away upstairs in my room. I have the Bob the Goon in package. I got the Batman up there in package. You see that in the background in some of the videos. And I don't have the Joker in package, but I have the Joker right over there with his hat like this. Sometimes I think you can see that in the videos, but not all of them. So I love those old. I'm moving too much. Let it focus. There we go. I love that old Toy Biz stuff. I totally do. My favorite stuff. Jay says he's liking season 2 of Luke Cage. That's awesome. Super cool. Well, thank you, Jay, about the action figures. They are dope. I think so. They're just amazing. Yes, Royal City is amazing, and it's ending soon as well. I think it's got like 3 more issues. And yes, I am vaping. I used to be a cigarette smoker, hardcore, and now I'm not. So that's why I vape. Slime gets what I'm talking about, man. With like Cottonmouth was such a perfect villain, right? And the way he built up, and it was so good. And then like when what happened, it was shocking. But then like Diamondback was totally nowhere near the level of Cottonmouth, in my opinion, at all. Oh. No, man, I've never seen the Legion series. I've heard very, very good things about it. I really want to. It seems very cerebral and surreal, and that's the type of stuff I really do like, and I really sink my teeth into. But I have not watched it yet. Peace out, Nelson. Yeah, we did mention it. Venom #3 already out this week. That's so awesome. I love that book, man. Naked Unicorn. Okay. What's up, Armin? How you doing, man? Nice to have you back. Thank you for joining us. We've been mostly talking about Jeff Lemire and how awesome he is and how sad it is that some of his books are ending. Yeah, Diamondback was a comic book villain, and that series didn't present itself to be comic booky at first. I really liked the first half of Luke Cage season 1, and I really have a severe distaste for the second half of season 1. That's just me. Do I watch sci-fi movies? You mean like science fiction movies? You mean like movies from Sci-Fi, the channel? Because I don't think so. Not really. Yeah, the Venom Donny Cates stuff is amazing, and the Thanos trade of Donny Cates comes out this week. We do have Gideon Falls. We have Gideon Falls, and we got Black Hammer, and we got Sentry #1 starting this week from Marvel. So that's super cool. I haven't watched Annihilation yet. You talking about the movie, or are you talking about the comic book event Annihilation, which is cool? Yeah, I love sci-fi, man. Sci-fi movies are probably my favorite movies. I used to say they were horror movies. I grew up a huge fan of horror films, and I still like a lot of horror films. But there's almost like it's kind of like there's this theory that like once you hit a certain age, your taste in music just stops. Like you like the stuff from there and back. Usually they say around 30 years old. I feel like that happened to me with horror films. But I am really, really a big sci-fi fan. But yeah, some of my favorite movies are 2001, A Space Odyssey, and Blade Runner. Love those films. Donnie Darko is one of my favorite films. I love Southland Tales, which I think is a quirky sci-fi film. But I love that stuff. Aliens, all that jazz. Yeah, Jeff Lemire is on Hit Girl right now. I read the first issue of his run. I thought it was all right, I guess. It's a Hit Girl comic. Yeah, man. Sentry by Jeff Lemire, that sounds right up his alley, especially with like what he's been doing over at Black Hammer. Annihilation is the best sci-fi of all time. That's cool. Other ones I like, of course, are Christopher Nolan. I think he makes really good sci-fi films. Inception, Interstellar. I really like those films. I used to really like crime fiction a lot. That was my favorite genre of comic books for a long time, especially in the 90s when I was a teenager. I loved stuff like Sin City, loved the Bendis stuff, everything like Torso and Jinx and Goldfish. Still love those comics. I think those are amazing. Nowheresville was a really cool one from Image at that time. Lots of cool stuff back then. But sci-fi, I would say that science fiction right now is my favorite genre of film. And I've heard very, very positive things about Annihilation. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Yes, I do like Rosemary's Baby. I think it's a very effective movie. I think it's very scary and creepy. I think it's really cool. I just don't like the creator of that film very much, do I? Sunshine, you're talking about the Danny Boyle film. I need to appreciate that more. Justin, who does our podcast with us, loves that movie so much. I really like Sunshine, but I feel like the final act just kind of reverts to a slasher film. That kind of bothered me a little bit, but I think everything leading up to that point was brilliant. But I haven't watched it in years, and I promised Justin that I will many times. And you just reminded me that I really, really gotta honor that soon. Yeah, 2001's amazing. I love that film. Man, you just saw the Punisher. Was that the first time you watched the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie? It's not really a good movie. I remember being a kid and being very confused that he wasn't wearing the skull, but the skull was on the end of the knives, and I thought that was cool. When I was a kid, I liked it, but it's not known as being that greatest movie. My favorite Punisher movie is the short film Dirty Laundry, by the way. Alien is amazing too. Magic Order was a good book. It's a great first issue. Armin says that he was missing my videos because he was reading The Invisibles for the past few weeks. How was that, buddy? First Contact movie was amazing. Are you talking about Star Trek First Contact? Because if you are, you're talking about my favorite Star Trek movie of all time. And I'm a huge Trekker. Nutso Trekker. First Contact is where it's at, man. Everybody says Wrath of Khan. That's a great one. I say that's number 3. But First Contact, whew. Actually, First Contact's my second. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, never mind. First Contact is one of the best Star Trek movies ever. I have a controversial favorite Star Trek movie. I love the motion picture. That's just me. But First Contact to me is better than Wrath of Khan. But I am more of a next gen fan than I am a TOS fan, though who's not a TOS fan, obviously. Yeah, those old Bendis Noir books are amazing. If you guys have never read Torso, Jinx, and Goldfish, oh my goodness, you have to. I'm sure DC will be reprinting them. What First Contact movie are you talking about? We talking about Star Trek. That's a great movie. I am not very excited for the Transformers Bumblebee movie coming out. I am not a Transformers movie fan. But I'll check it out because I hear that it's looking good. I still haven't even seen the trailer, but I hear it's really, really looking good. Yeah, Stephanie, I'm right there with you. It sucks because I like so many of his films, and it taints it. It sucks. But I think Rosemary's Baby is a brilliant film. I think Chinatown's a great film. Ninth Gate is a really good film. Sunshine is a sleeper hit. Yeah, I watched the Power Rangers short. I wasn't a big fan of that. I'm a huge Power Rangers fan, obviously, and I'm a Power Rangers purist. I really think I don't like a dark Power Rangers. Does that make sense? Because here's the thing, Rocky. I'm telling you this, Rocky would not have betrayed the team. That's what Jason would have done. If they would have maybe had that be Jason, it would have been a little bit different. But I can't. No, Rocky would never betray the team, man. Never. Oh, yeah, that movie with Amy Adams. Is that called First Contact? I watched that. The Arrival? Is that what you're talking about? The Arrival? Not the one with Charlie Sheen, which I guess is just Arrival. I don't know. Is it The Arrival? Arrival. If you're talking about Arrival, I fell asleep in it and I thought it was kind of boring. And by the end of it, I went, is that the whole point of this movie? But I was falling asleep, so I need to watch that one again. Armin, you're not off topic. We're talking about. Are you talking about the Invisibles? Hold on. I get that you like that Power Rangers short. I understand why a lot of people liked it. I'm a super Power Rangers purist. I really am. It's so weird. It offended me. Does that make sense? It's so weird. Like, and like I care. I don't really care. I mean, it was a little short film. But yeah, I don't know. It really bothered me how dark it was. Does that make? It's just so weird. I was like, this isn't how Power Rangers is supposed to be. I'm not usually like that. Polanski is a tool. Totally, man. Totally. Adam, are you talking about The Arrival being boring? That's what I felt, man. Yeah, it just seemed such a like it had a like that kind of a paced film is cool and I thought that we were gonna have something super cerebral but by the end of it I was just like that's what the whole point of the movie is, like that's really it. I was like, okay, that seems like a short film. It should have been a short film. I don't know. I want to watch it again. My girlfriend loved it. She loved it so much. Oh yeah, Vault Comics. Vault Comics is amazing. You want to talk about science fiction? Some of the best science fiction ever right now that's being published, period, anywhere, is Vault Comics. Oh my goodness. Maxwell's Demons, Wasted Space, Deep Roots, Vagrant Queen. We got the upcoming Submerge. I'm hearing really good things about that one. Man, Friendo, I'm hearing good things about that book too. I think that's Vault. But dude, seriously, Vault Comics, that's where it's at right now. They do some cool like horror and fantasy type stuff too. Songs for the Dead is something I really, really like right now. And there's a cult classic, Return to Whisper, that's kind of like a little bit like it, but a little different. And it's really fun. And I'm loving it so much. God, I love it. Man, love Vault Comics right now. Cillian Murphy is a fantastic actor. I saw this film where he played a cross-dresser, and it was spectacular. Really transformed himself in that when he played a woman, I saw a woman. I haven't seen that movie. I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds very interesting, though. I like boring movies, too, sometimes. I really, really love 2001. That's kind of a boring movie. But not to me. Boring movies to other people aren't boring to me at times. But that one was just, like I said, it was late. I was super tired. I was falling asleep. That's something that's happening to me now. Is like if it's after 10 o'clock, I can't even turn off a light. Like if I just have dim lighting, I'm out. I fall asleep. I fell asleep in the movie theater watching Doctor Strange. And then when I watched it at home for the second time, I fell asleep again. Like, and it's not necessarily that the movies are ultimately boring, but it's like I'm hitting a point where like if I try to watch a movie too late, I'm out. I fall asleep. I'm done. Breakfast on Pluto. I'll check that out. I've never heard of it. That sounds interesting. I really like him in 28 Days Later. It's amazing, that film. I wish we'd had more of him as Jonathan Crane in the Nolan Batman films. And he's also very creepy in Red Eye, the Wes Craven film, right? Yeah. I like Wes Craven. Sad that we don't have him anymore. Maxwell's Demons is it. That's where it's at. That book is so amazing, man. Oh my goodness. And the writer of that book, Denise Camp, is the coolest dude. Seriously, like he checked out the weekly comic book review when I was talking about it. I called it like the sleeper hit of the week. And he retweeted it and he shared it. He's like, dude, thank you so much. And ever since then, I've just been kind of chatting with him back and forth a little bit on Twitter. Nothing big, nothing crazy like that. And seriously, he sent me the first 3 issues of Maxwell's Demons signed as a thank you for the support. And that's the coolest thing to me. Like that's never happened to me from a creator. And it blew me away. And seriously, I love his work. And I hope that there's a lot more coming from him because he is a talent. There's so many cool, crazy ideas in Maxwell's Demons. Like from that book alone, it seems like we kind of like, I don't like comparing creators to other creators because creators have their own distinct voice, and he definitely does. But he's someone up there like a Grant Morrison, like a Warren Ellis, at least to me, very early in his career, and I'm just loving it, loving everything from him. I do like Vagrant Queen. I thought it was a really fun book. Had a really cool. It kind of captured that that dingy sci-fi film type thing that we kind of got a little bit of in Solo film. And from the Han Solo bits from the original Star Wars trilogy, I just like that scoundrelly, like Firefly, like space, just kind of, I don't know. I really did like it though. I don't think it was the strongest Vault comic I read, but I thought it was really, really good. Have you ever watched Tales from the Crypt? Yes. You talking about the TV series? Are you talking about Vault Comics being very hard for you to find, Adam? If Vault Comics are very hard for you to find my shop that I work at on Facebook, Deep Comics. Message us and we can ship them to you because we get them. You talking about number one of Vagrant Queen? You like that one? Up till 4 a.m. every night in Cleveland. Not me. I wake up at like 6:30 to 7 every day, mostly. Mostly. Today, for instance, I didn't wake up till almost noon, guys. Isn't that crazy? That's the first time I've done that in a while. I have not read Heathen. I picked up the first trade paperback from my shop, and I haven't checked it out yet, but I really, really want to. And I hear that volume 2 is coming soon. Maxwell's Demons is a book about, Armin, I'll get to you in just a second. I forgot that we were talking about Invisibles. Maxwell's Demons is about this kid, and so it's really hard. It's a book about fathers, okay? It's about a relationship between a father and a son. But it's really this really cool and very imaginative story about this kid who goes off into these other dimensions and has these adventures, and his teddy bear and his dinosaur toys, like his toys become his companions, right? And so it's kind of ambiguous whether or not he's this super genius kid and he actually has found a way into other dimensions and he goes off and has these other crazy adventures out in these other worlds, or if it's all just in his head. And then the second issue just did a completely separate thing. And then the third issue got back to his story. It's crazy. It's so good. I think it's going for 5 to 6 issues. And if it does well, I think Camp wants to keep doing it. But it's so good. It's hard to explain because it's one of those books where we don't quite get everything, but it's basically about a kid and he's escaping into his imagination, whether that's real or not. But there's a lot of cool concepts in it, especially in the second issue. Great sci-fi, great fantasy, beautiful artwork by Antonio. What's his name? Vittorio Astoni. That's his name, I think. Brilliant, beautiful artwork. I cannot recommend Maxwell's Demons enough at all. Armin, all right, dude, I understand you got to go. Thank you so much. Invisibles is amazing, and I'm glad it changed your life. I want to talk to you more about that for real. If you're on the Facebooks or anything, you can find me at Rockin Robbie Billups or on Twitter at Rockin Robbie. We can chat there. But Invisibles is deep, it's dense, it's layered. There's a lot there, and every time you read that book, it will change your life again. And every time you read that book, you'll understand it more, and then understand that you didn't understand it to begin with. And we probably never will, but it's amazing. And the story behind the book and everything, and it's just so good, so good. But thank you so much for your support, buddy. Well, Adam, I don't know how you get any sleep then. If you stay that late and you get up that early, I don't know how you get any sleep. I live nowhere near New York City. A second issue of what, Adam? What are you talking about? What are we talking about here? Adam says he doesn't get any sleep. I understand that. I believe we have the second issue of Maxwell's Demons. I'm at work tomorrow morning. I can check on it. But if we have it, we'll just send it to you at the at cover price plus shipping. I'm pretty sure we have issue 2. But I'll check tomorrow. I'll let you know. Stephanie, that's funny because the other day, this dude came up. I was at work and we were outside. We were just hanging out, shooting the shit. And this dude showed up and he had a Cardinals hat on, St. Louis Cardinals hat. And I'm a Yankees fan, okay? So I knew he was a Cardinals fan. So he comes up and we're like, hey, how you doing? You know? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And so my buddy says, hey, Cardinals fan, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, we appreciate Cardinals fans in here. I was like, yeah, as long as you're not a Cubs fan, because I was like, Cardinals fans hate Cubs fans. So I'm going to like, make them feel good and talk a little crap about the Cubs for them. And then he's like, I don't care what team it is as long as they're not from New York City. And I immediately thought of that Pace pecani sauce commercial and was slightly offended as a Yankees fan. So F the Cardinals. So there you go. No problem, Tony. Enjoy your dinner. Oh, man. I have heard about Space Rider, and I've heard so many good things about it, but I've never checked it out. And it got really hard to find for a while there. But I've seen artwork from it. Looks amazing. Looks so good. Yeah, I'm hip to Alterna Comics. I love Alterna Comics. We actually have looked into doing an ad with Alterna Comics because they have really good advertising rates. So if you have anything you want to promote, check out Alterna Comics. They do newsprint books, mostly about $1.50 a piece. They do some really good books. I really like Zero Jumper a lot. What's that one? The 12. I love the 12. Sonatus is all right. Go West was pretty decent, but they do really good stuff. They got a new one. It's something like Exilium or something like that coming out soon. That seems really, really nifty. Super pumped for that. And they got this one coming out called It Came Out on a Wednesday. It's like a horror anthology. That's just a great idea for me. It sounds like something I'd totally be into. I haven't checked out Fear Diaries. Was that the one shot they did about like the imaginary, like the animals, the stuffed animals or something? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I have that, but I haven't read it yet. But I actually have it, so it's up there in my stack. Yeah, it totally. The artwork in what was that book called? Space Riders looks totally Kirby-esque, and it looks like the dude that does a tomahawk, which I just love that artwork. I think it's super cool. Okay. Yeah, man, I'll check it out, dude. I totally have it upstairs. There's another book that came out a while ago. I think it was from Boom or something called Imagine Agents. Have you ever checked that one out? It was really cool. I think it's from the creator of Shirtless Bear Fighter, but I'm not completely sure about that. Absolutely. But that's super fun. Super fun. So we're going to be cutting out here in probably about 10 to 15 minutes. What am I currently reading? Like right now, like at this moment, I am reading book-wise. I am reading Dark Tower, Book 4, Wizard in Glass. Going through that slowly. I just finished a reread of all the Metal and No Justice books. I am reading a book called The Power of Habit. I cannot remember for the life of me the author of that. I just finished rereading Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces. I think that's something I have to read like every couple years. Comic book wise, I'm about to start a big reread on Venom stuff for an unannounced project coming from this channel later on this fall. And I'm very excited for that. So I'm doing that. I have the first trade and volume of Kim and Kim by Magdalene Visaggio that I'm eager to get into. It's set aside, and I also have the first trade of Magnus by Kyle Higgins that I want to reread because I really thought that was one of the best books of last year. And if you like stuff like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep and The Matrix, it's kind of like that combined into a really cool sci-fi great book with beautiful artwork by Jorge Fjornez. So that one was really cool, and it's colored by Chris O'Halloran, so that's really cool. So those are some of the comics that I got reading that I'm coming up with in my stack right now. And I'm also reading and rereading. I'm always rereading through Fantastic Four. And at this point, I'm in the story where Doom is stealing Silver Surfer's surfboard, and that's super exciting for me in the 50s, somewhere around that leading up to issue 60. And man, I got a lot on my plate. I'm also reading through John Byrne's Superman run right now, and I'm at like the Action Comics issue where he teams up with the Phantom Stranger. So that's what I'm going through right now. And I'm also reading through Chris Claremont's X-Men run, but I just wrapped up Phoenix Saga not too long ago, and I've been on a big break, and I plan on getting back to that soon. So there you go. Oh, you're from France? That's awesome. Alterna Comics is good stuff, man. Really good stuff. They got some good stuff. If you're going to buy anything from Alterna Comics, I would recommend the 12. I would recommend Zero Jumper. And yeah, those are the two that I would really recommend. We were talking about that one up there, Fear Diaries. Checking that one out too. That seems neat. But those are the ones out right now that I would really encourage you to check out. And yeah, if you're looking for current comic books, Adam's right there. Isola, Gideon Falls, Mr. Miracle, Ice Cream Man. Those are some really good books. Stephanie, I smoked a lot of different kinds of cigarettes. Marble Lights was a favorite for a while there, but mostly I smoked Camel Lights or Camel Turkish Golds. Yeah, I've never read Kim and Kim's, and they're doing a new ongoing series, and I'm very excited for that because I really like Visaggio's work. I discovered her work on the Transformers versus Visionaries series, and I really had a lot of fun with that, being a Visionaries fan especially. And then, of course, Vagrant Queen and Eternity Girl is rocking right now. Love it so much. I don't hate Tank Girl. It just doesn't appeal to me that much. Yeah, the first trade of Ice Cream Man came out like last week, right? I thought it started off really solid. It got a little weird at the end, but I think it's all set up for what's coming next because there is more coming, I believe. But I love that book, and that's also colored by Chris O'Halloran. Just talking about him. He's the colorist over on Magnus, and super excited for that. I can dig that. You know what really soured me on Tank Girl, homie? I'll tell you what soured me on Tank Girl. It's that movie. It's that movie. I did not like that movie growing up at all. So that's probably why I'm soured on Tank Girl. That being said, is it Jamie Howlett is the creator? Does the Gorillas? Did the co-creator on the Gorillas? So that's pretty cool. I know, man. I hope you don't, unsubscribe to the channel because I didn't like the Tank Girl movie. I'm just messing with you. But thank you. And no, I mean, I haven't seen it since then, but I just didn't like it. It's seriously one of the reasons, like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Lori Petty because I don't like, was it In the Army Now? And I was, at that time, like, Pauly Shore movies were my jam, like Encino Man and Son-in-Law. Like, oh my goodness. I love Biodome, but I didn't like In the Army Now that much. But maybe it was Andy Dick now that I think about it. But I'm not supremely annoyed by him in movies, I guess, but I don't know. But then again, I love A League of Their Own, and Lori Petty's in that one. So I don't know. Son-in-Law is an American treasure. I love that movie so much, and it's got the dude in it who plays the dad is the dude who played Perry White in Lois and Clark, and that was the best Perry White I think we have ever had in any medium. Like seriously, every time Perry White's in a movie or a cartoon or anything, I think the best interpretation of Perry White is that dude from Son-in-Law in Lois and Clark. That's me. Yeah, it's a bad movie, but we have the right to love bad movies. One of my favorite movies is Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme, And this is a funny story. So earlier today, me and my girlfriend, she's been playing through some Mario games with me, and so I took her to Mario 1, the first Mario Brothers game, and we finished it today. And so as I had the Nintendo out, I was like, well, let me play some more stuff. And I put in Mortal Kombat, and I got my ass kicked because I could not remember a single move except for with Liu Kang. And I still got my ass kicked. Couldn't remember any combos or nothing. It pissed me off so much. I went and put on Street Fighter because I remember all the moves there because they're way easier. And yeah, I was so mad. I turned off Mortal Kombat today in anger and frustration and bitterness because I cannot remember how to play that game. Best bad movies would be a good podcast subject. We've actually discussed it before. I haven't read Curse Words. Actually, I read the first issue. It didn't appeal to me. For some reason, Charles Soule's work doesn't really pull me that much for some reason. I don't know why. Zordon. What about Zordon? What about Zordon? Zordon? What are we talking about Zordon? Why are we talking about Zordon? Oh, there's a movie called, I thought we were talking about like Zordon from Power Rangers. Best bad movie to me is Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. That movie's terrible, but I love it so much. There's another bad movie that came up not too long ago when we were doing our 80s sci-fi podcast. Because Justin came over and he's like, dude, have you ever heard about this really bad movie? I can't remember what it's called, but it's got Mark Hamill and Bill Paxton in it. It's so stupid. And I was like, you talking about Slipstream? I love Slipstream. I got it right here on DVD. Or you want to watch it? I'm like, so that's a bad one. But yeah, I never seen Zordon with Sean Connery. I read the first issue of Punk's Not Dead and I really liked it, but I didn't read any more of it because I was going to trade weight that one. Yeah, I think I know the movie you're talking about in my head. I think, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all. I'm glad we got some movie talk going on. Because movies is something we cover here at Pop Culture Philosophers as well. Speaking of which, if you want to know our thoughts on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they're going to be out tomorrow morning on Movie Monday. I thought it was all right. That was okay. I really like the ending of it. What's another good bad movie? Ice Pirates is a good bad movie, I think. What else? There's so many good bad movies. What are y'all's favorites? We got the Zordon movie or whatever. Is it Zordon or is it Zordon? I heard something. It's a cat back there making noise. What else is a good bad movie? I'm sure I got a bunch of them over there. My girlfriend thinks I like a lot of bad movies. We're going to be wrapping up here in probably about 5 minutes, everybody. But I want to thank you guys for joining us here tonight. We're not going to be here next week. There's going to be no videos next week. There can be no, except for the weekly comic book review. We'll always do that. So there will be no weekly pop culture wrap up next Sunday. There will be no live stream next Sunday. There will be no movie Monday next Monday. Zardogs. Yeah, I used to work at a movie store called Movie Stop. It was a used movie store. I managed there for a while. And I think I remember seeing that there a lot. Oh, yeah. And my buddy Justin is a huge Ernest fan. And he'll agree with you. Absolutely. Bummer about what, man? What's 1974? Talking about that song? It's an all right song. It's not my favorite Smashing Pumpkins song. I know you're not talking about the song. But why not? By the way, let's talk about this real quick. Have you listened to the new Smashing Pumpkins song? Well, I can't remember what it's called right now. A Solara? I don't remember what it is. But I'm not the biggest Leprechaun fan, but I like the Critters movies. Over on the PCP Army earlier, it's a Facebook group that we have. If you haven't joined it, you should totally join it. If you're on Facebook, find the PCP Army. You can find a link on the Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook page, or you can just type in PCP Army. But I did that thing that's going around where it's like, make me choose between two movies. And man, that's been very, very fun. That's been so fun. I've been having a lot of fun. But someone asked me about Leprechaun versus Critters. It was actually like Critters in Space versus Leprechaun in the Hood. And I will always choose Critters over Leprechaun. I don't like the Leprechaun movies that much. It's just me, though. Yeah, he's almost got the old band back. It's everybody but Darcy. So Jimmy and James is there. That's awesome. Unfortunately, so when I saw Perfect Circle this last May, Eha wasn't there, and that was sad. But he's on tour with the Pumpkins. I don't think I'm going to get to see him. I've seen the Pumpkins twice already, but never with Jimmy or James, so that kind of sucks. But I do plan on seeing Live this summer with Counting Crows, and Live just released a new song. They have reunited fully again as well. They got a new song out called Love Lounge that I love. But the new Smashing Pumpkins song I think it's called Solara or something like that. That's really, really good. So like two 90s bands that I adore doing really good music today. And that excites me. But I do want to go. I wanted to see because the Pumpkins are coming right near me. And I want to so bad, but there's just with the move and everything, it's just not possible. Ah, man, it pisses me off. It really pisses me off. Now I'm going to end the stream pissed off. I'm just kidding. My girlfriend went and saw Manson and Zombie. She said it just, I don't know, she just felt like they were a little past their prime. Oh, what's up, buddy? You saw Live and Counting Crows together in 2005? That's awesome. I've seen Live before, and it was awesome. It was like the equivalent of going to church for me. It was like such an uplifting spiritual experience, as weird as that sounds. I've never seen the Counting Crows, so I'm very excited for that too. Super excited. The most interesting movie this July for me is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, I believe. Oh man, you saw Perfect Circle open for Nine Inch Nails on the Fragile tour. That's awesome. That might be my favorite Nine Inch Nails album, the Fragile. I don't know. Pretty Hate Machine's up there, and I actually like Hesitation Marks for real. Like I really do. But that was a great. That would have been a great time to see Nine Inch Nails. Like once he had come back, and oh man, that'd been a great time, especially to see Perfect Circle. Oh my goodness, that would have been amazing. Saw Perfect Circle last May, and I saw them like a year or two ago. I can't remember right. But James was with them on that tour, and it was awesome. I'm a big Pumpkins fan. My girlfriend's a huge Tool and Perfect Circle fan. So I haven't seen Tool yet, but I have seen Perfect Circle twice, and that was super fun, super fun. Seen live once, and that was super fun. Seen the Pumpkins twice, that was great, both times. And the second time I saw the Smashing Pumpkins, Palisa opened up for them, and that was one of those bands I discovered on NPR that I just loved, and the fact that they opened up for them, and they did an amazing job, amazing. But I saw Pumpkins for the first time in St. Louis. We drove to St. Louis to see this show because it was the Oceana tour, and I love that Oceana album. They played that whole album in its entirety with a big ball. Hey, what's up, Crane? You all right? With a big, like, they had this big, like, white globe above them, and they were, like, showing all this footage on it, and it just worked, and it was so cool and beautiful. And then they did basically their greatest hits, and it was super fun, super fun. You saw Rage and Wu-Tang. Oh my goodness. So we had tickets to Rage Against the Machine and Beastie Boys, and then that show got canceled because I think like Mike D got hurt or something like that. And then it just never panned out. But I've never seen either Wu-Tang or Rage. I'm incredibly jealous. And now, of course, I'll never get the chance to see the Beastie Boys. And that's something I sorely regret in my life. Sorely regret. And ... Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's super cool. Oh, man, that's super cool. All right, guys, we're going to be signing out now. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Don't forget, comic books are coming out this week. And oh, by the way, those Walmart 100-page specials we were talking about, they start hitting the shops in July. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for joining me. We will not be here next week, but we'll be here in 2 weeks, hopefully, to do another one. Super fun. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. And deuces, keep it real and love each other because we're all worthy of love, right? Deuces, peace out.